All right, try it again here. So I think I'm streaming, waiting for my YouTube page here to update. But basically what we're going to be doing today is testing out the Analogue NT Lite. They have a new Atari 2600 core that Kevtris, who's the guy that programs all this stuff, is releasing on a weekly basis. So every week there's another, another core released from his mothership. And now this thing, which began life as a Nintendo console, at least a Nintendo clone console, is now a lot more. So we're going to be looking at its Atari 2600 capabilities in this stream. And I am doing another live stream because, I don't have a lot of time to schedule these at the moment. That's going to change. So I'm going to start doing a regular streaming time where I'll pick something every week or so and just do a live stream. But today, or at least for the next couple of weeks, we're just going to do these things randomly as I get time. So I'm in my sweatshirt here. It's a Saturday afternoon. All the kids are asleep, and I'm taking a few minutes before I've got to get back to family stuff to play some video games because, you've got to relive your youth every once in a while. So let us take a look here and see what we got. Now, YouTube is still telling me that this is starting, so I don't know if YouTube's having streaming problems today or not, but I am going to just wait until YouTube gives me the confirmation that somebody actually can see what I'm about to stream here. So let's see what happens. And actually what I'm doing during the stream is just recording some footage here on the laptop that you can really, it's kind of off camera right here, but I've got the Elgato HD60S that I got a little while ago. So I'm using that to record the stream here. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I cannot stream live here. It's quite frustrating. I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully some of you are seeing this. I don't know if anyone's actually seeing this or not, but it looks like YouTube is reporting that the stream is offline. So this may actually not be reaching anybody. So I'm just going to wait until it says that somebody's actually watching this. It says starting. I wonder if I should start this again. Let's see. I'm just going to start and stop it again. All right, still says it's starting, so I'm going to just wait until it says something other than starting. I should check Twitter and see if other people are having issues here. Yeah, this is not cool. I'm trying to stream here. Maybe I'll try a 720p stream. So let's try that real quick and see. It doesn't look like this is reaching anybody right now. All right, so let's try 720p now, see if that gets us anywhere. Refresh. And still says starting, no stream. Well, this is frustrating. Oh, there we go. Now we're live. Okay, so it looks like it didn't like. So I tried to shoot this. Let me turn the volume off on the computer here. I was trying to get the stream to you. Oops, let's get that down here. How do we get this volume off? So I was trying to get the stream to you at 1080p today, and for whatever reason, it wasn't starting up. So I went down to 720p, and hopefully that will work better. So that is what we're going to be going with. So today on the random live stream, when I just kind of pop on randomly when I have time, I'm going to move my chat windows around here a little bit. We are going to be looking today at the Analogue NT again, because what I've been doing is whenever they come up with a new core, which is like every week now, I've been testing it. So Kevtris, the guy that creates the core for these things, or the cores, I should say, for these things, he's got a new one to look at today, and that one is this one, which is the Atari 2600 core. So we're going to check that out. And it looks like Vice L is first. It's only 7 people watching. I just started, so I've been having trouble getting the stream going. Unfortunately, it's going to be 720p. It wasn't taking my 1080p stream for some reason. Maybe they're overloaded with too many people streaming or something. So in any event, we're going to be playing some Atari 2600 games for a little while. I've got maybe, I don't know, 45 minutes or so before I have to get moving here, because I have dinner reservations with my wife, and right now the kids are napping, everybody's happy, so I'm down here trying to play some games. So that's what I'm going to do. It's one of the pitfalls of being a dad, is that sometimes you got responsibilities, but now I've got some time and I can play some games. So we're going to go into the Atari 2600. This is a core that is running on the Analogue NT Lite here, and I've picked out a bunch of games that I used to play as a kid, and we're going to play through them pretty quickly because there's a bunch to check out. So that is what we're going to do. What I'm doing right now is actually capturing the footage on my Dell computer here, which is going to be capturing. I'm using the HD60S here from Elgato to do the capturing, and what you're seeing is going through the Dell, but it actually looks pretty decent on the screen here. So let us choose this. And hello, Kostas from Greece. Welcome. And Vice is from Croatia. It's awesome. We've got like international audiences here. This is so cool. So we're going to load up this core. And what's going to happen when I load the core is that sometimes it goes blank for a minute so that it can get its stuff put together here. So let's choose. I'm not used to this controller here. There we go. So we're going to load the core up. And it's going to go blank for a second. So you'll see my capture window here went blank, but it takes a second. What it's doing right now is it's actually reprogramming that field programmable gate array chip to behave now like an Atari 2600. So this is there's always this semantic argument as to, hello from Brazil, right? This is awesome. We got people from Croatia, Greece, and Brazil. So what happens here is that inside of the Analogue NT is a chip called a field programmable gate array chip. And there's a lot of semantics as to what this means. Some people say it is emulation. I like to call it simulation, because this chip is in hardware replicating what the original chips did. So there's no software layer that has to get timed properly. Kevtris, I'm going to get him on for an interview at some point, who programmed this, makes it work just like a real Atari 2600 would work like. So it's really cool stuff. All right, so let's go check out a game here. Let's go play some Asteroids. We're going to start with that. So I think I hit Y here. I had to print out a cheat sheet of what these button mappings are, because the way this works, it got somebody from Israel. Awesome. So Brazil, Israel, Colorado, Greece, Croatia, everybody's here. This is great. So the Atari 2600 did all these switches on the actual device here. So I have a cheat sheet here. So I'll show you how all this works. We're going to start off with the tried and true Asteroids. And this was actually one of the first games that I had on the Atari 2600. And there we go. And there we go. We've got Asteroids here up on the screen, flickering just like it's supposed to. So there are a couple of things to note here. So the Y button on the controller, this is the 8-bit controller that came with it. This is a kind of like a replica NES controller, so we can hit that. No, the stream is not ended. We're still here. If you are seeing it ending, let me know. I don't think it's ended here yet. So this is the fire button. The left and right triggers toggle the difficulty for the player, and then X is color and A is black and white. So I can change it to black and white, I think. Let's see. We have to start the game. Let's see. Left and right triggers toggle the difficulty switch for the player. While on player 1, X and A toggle the black and white color switch. X is color and A is black and white. So it doesn't look like it's toggling back and forth. All right. Let's select and start, or select and reset respectively. All right, so let's see how I can, there we go. All right, so we can get this started. you guys hearing the sound? Hopefully you are. And let me get full screen up here for you. There we go. We can play some asteroids. I have it on the easy mode right now. I think somebody made like a homebrew version of asteroids that was closer to the original arcade, because this version, I believe, it obviously isn't like the original. The original was a vector game in the arcade, and this one was a little less than vector, obviously. But somebody made like a vector light version, or like version, on the 2600 later on. But you can see what it sounds like here. And it feels pretty good. It looks pretty good. What I'm going to do, I did get a cable in to plug the Analogue NT here into a real CRT television. So I'm going to be doing something with that, with a light gun. And then I'm really eager to see how some of these games work, because what he's done with these FPGAs is he's replicated the actual hardware. The way the hardware worked is replicated in here. So that is what's going on here. So got my controller here, and I got to pay attention. I'm like watching the chat and all this other stuff. Everybody let me know how it sounds too, because I don't want to turn the sound on and have it all feedback on me here, so I don't know what it's actually sounding like. You should be hearing it. And I think the sound more than the graphics brings me back to how the Atari used to look back in the day. So I used to spend a lot of time playing Atari, and this was one of the games that I used to play quite a bit of when I was a kid. And it was funny that, so there was a couple of Atari games that everybody had, because that was, the games that were published by Atari were the ones that retailers typically stocked. But what was so funny was you'd go to a friend's house and you'd have all these games that you'd never heard of before, because there wasn't a lot of press for this stuff. So you didn't. I should start recording this actually. Let me go and hit the record button here. There wasn't a lot of press for this stuff, so you didn't really know like what games were out unless you went to the store to see what they had. And that was basically how all this stuff worked. So there's a lot of games that I didn't really know about until I got older, or I was at a friend's house and they had some wacky game. We're going to check out some Activision games in a few minutes that were really good. There's some really good ones out there. So what I'm doing here as I am streaming is I'm also recording some footage. What I've been doing is uploading footage of the various cores to my extras channel. Just, I think if people are interested in how this stuff looks and feels, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do that. So good stuff there. And Vice is wondering why so few people are watching. Well, you know what? I don't schedule these things, and I'm going to start doing that. So that's probably part of the reason. And I apologize for being at 720p today. I couldn't get the 1080p stream to come up. It was lagging. So I'm just going to play it at 720 today. So we'll see how it looks it's posted there. Now, what I do with these streams, by the way, is I have a link, Lon.TV/livestream, so you can go and check those out when I am done. So these do get archived, so you can check those out. Excuse me. A little bit later, so good stuff. So I think I may have enough here. I think if I hit down, you hyperspace. Yeah, down was the hyperspace, so I can hit, I'll switch over my two up here. Hit down and you can jump out of something quickly. You only have a couple of those hyperspaces though. So that is that. All right, so I'm going to stop recording that one. And now we'll go to the next one. All right, so select down, and we're going to pick a different game. I put a bunch of games on the thing here, so we'll take a look. I think I'll just kind of go through the alphabet maybe. Let's see. So Barnstorming, this is one of the games that I was not aware of until I went to a friend's house. So let's check this one out. And this is an Activision game. You'll notice right now it's in black and white. So I think if I hit the X, there we go. So one of the switches on the original Atari was the ability to change it from color and black and white. And this was important because if you had a black and white television like I did, you might want to get rid of some of the colors so you can actually see what you're playing. So these games had different modes to it. They also had very different difficulty settings. And for the sake of my advanced age, I am playing all these games on their original settings there. So let's go start the recording here for this game. Tactical Power on 7800, not yet. I think it's on his list, and I'm almost certain we'll see what's going on with that. Tactical Power, as far as the flickering, that is actually part of the game. The game actually flickered like that for real back in the day. So you're seeing actual gameplay footage there. So let's put this back in color. There we go. And now we'll start playing some Barnstorming. This game was kind of fun. I forgot how to play it. So you have this airplane. Oops. And the airplane could hit things and not actually crash. And I think you're supposed to go through these barns here. Oops. I'm so bad at these games. And this only had a single button. So behind me on my shelf of retro goodness, I have an actual Atari controller. Well, I think I have to get through 8 of these things maybe before time runs out. I'm not sure how this game was played. Let's see. There we go. There we go. 7 left. It'd be really nice to have a plane in real life that could hit birds and objects and not crash. Realism was not there. And, oops. Oops. I am not doing well here, folks. There we go. 3 more to go. Now it's easy. It's lining right up for me. Okay, so it looks like I got through whatever stage I need to get through there. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't have the right camera angle on. But it's good to have the chat going here because I can at least... All right, so... Apparently I didn't do what it wanted me to do. Let's go through 10 things here. Now these games, you got to put this in context now. This is an era when nobody had any games at all. So this is what games were like back in the early 80s. So I think the Atari 2600 came out when I was maybe about my daughter's age, about 2 or 3 years old. My father, I remember this actually very distinctly. My father went out, took us all out, and this must have been right when it came out or something, because he had to get this thing. So this techie thing runs in the family. And we went out to every department store in the area. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with New England, but we had a chain of department stores called Caldors. And I remember getting in the car, and it was really late at night, and we were traveling all over the place trying to find the Atari 2600, and we eventually got one. So, all right. So actually, all right, so tactical power. With the asteroids, it flickers a lot initially, and then as the asteroids get blown up and get smaller, it stops flickering, I think was how it used to work back in the day there. So anyway, that's barnstorming. Now, Activision was a great publishing house. They made some cool stuff. Now, I'm going to skip by Berserk for a second because I want to show you bowling. So all I remember the night we got the Atari was my father playing bowling all night long. And you could actually adjust the ball here. So I got really good at this game. And of course, I've forgotten how to play it now. But let's go drop the thing there, and then I can just hit the right here. Boom. Yeah, he was playing this all night long. I remember coming down in the middle of the night for whatever, you're a kid, you hear something going on downstairs, you want to see what's going on. There we go, got the strike. And he was playing bowling all night long. So this was one of the first, this must have been like a launch title or close to it. In fact, I have some Atari cartridges up on the shelf over there. So I'll show you those in a second, what those cartridges look like. And here we go. By the way, that record thing you see in the upper left-hand corner, this is output coming from my Dell laptop because I'm capturing footage for my extras channel. I like to just show these cores off to folks that are interested. Yeah, and it's funny, this game, honestly, I kid you not, I spent hours playing this game when I was a kid. I mean, this was fun. It still is kind of fun. I think it's one of those things when you take it in context. As a kid, this was like a great sports game because it was pretty challenging. Because you can move. So I'll show you here. I'm going to go to the two up view here. So you have a chance. You get your bowler guy positioned here, and then you have one chance to change the ball's direction. So I can hit up here, for example. But I can't change it after that. So you have like one shot to get the ball to curve or do whatever that you want to do to the ball. So I can have it go down, for example, too. But that's it. So you've got to really, there's a lot of timing involved. And there we go. Pretty fun. And it kept a good score. It was actually, it's a real, from the scoring standpoint, kind of a real legit bowling game from that standpoint. So lots of fun. Stan Isaacson says the amazing game audio. Yeah, the Atari 2600 was not known for its awesome game audio, but it was a fun. Some of these games were really fun. So this was one that I played a lot of when I was a kid. Let's go check out Berserk now. Let me just swap the recording out here. I like to keep different recordings for each game. Here's Berserk. Now this is a game I did not have, but my friends were really. One of my friends had this one. And that was the other thing. These games were so expensive. I think these games were like $30 or $40 maybe, $20, $29, I forget what they charged for them. But they were expensive enough that you would kind of strategize with your friends as to who would get what game, and you would swap them out with each other because they were very expensive. And they didn't have a lot of play value, but not a lot of play time. In other words, like you could get through the game and play it and get back to whatever you wanted to do with yourself afterwards. So we got to kill these robots here. So we'll just grab these guys. And I have everything on the easiest difficulty setting right now, so we're not too heavily challenged here. All right, so we've got, now the robots are shooting at us. Now the arcade version of this, I think the robots talked. We'll do an arcade stream one of these days and see how that looks. By the way, that record thing you see in the upper left-hand corner is just my Elgato recording the footage for the extras channel. It wasn't good. Hello, Damon. Oops. I got to pay attention and stop talking to all of you while I'm playing these games here. So we've got, so I guess the walls will kill you. And what I'm doing here, so there was also some diagonals to this too. So if I want to shoot that way, I can go that way. I'm finding the diagonals are a little sensitive on this 8-bit Do controller. The robots kind of reminded me of the robots from Battlestar Galactica. All right, so they're all bunched up over there. There we go. And they can kill themselves also, or each other. They're not the most intelligent robots out there. All right, so now I think I can switch game modes here. Let's try that out. Let's see. So if I want to switch modes, all right, so the difficulty switch for the player, while player one, okay, so some of these games go black and white and others don't. And I think he said you can change the difficulty here by the left and right triggers. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. All right, most games, left trigger is hard. Oh, I see, that's right. There was 2 difficulty settings, and there was different games you could select. There we go. So they also had different game modes. So as I hit the select button here, you'll see that it's got different numbers, and there were different game modes. You often have referred to the manual as to exactly what those game modes did, and they would slightly change the dynamics of the game. When we get to Space Invaders, I'll show you a great example of some of the different game modes that they had here. So we'll drop down here, and we'll grab oops. Wow, look at all those robots here. So some of these game modes are a bit more difficult than others, obviously. So we have a lot more robots in this game mode than we did on the easy one that we were doing earlier. So that's what that's all about. And we'll just go down here. And these games didn't have a lot of purpose to them. I mean, it was really something where you just kind of played the game for a little bit, and then you just went on and did something else. So a lot of times my friends would come over, we'd play some games. Now we were really... So we had the Atari 2600 when I was a little kid, and then when I was probably like in second grade, that's when we got the ColecoVision, and that was when my friends and I really started playing a lot of video games together. So we spent maybe an hour or two playing a couple of games, because you can see like you're done with the game now. It's so quick, you know. It's not. There's no story to tell. You're not going through this whole big, this whole big ordeal of a 40-hour game. You're just popping in, playing a game for a few minutes, and then we'd go out and ride our bikes afterward. It wasn't something you'd spend all day doing because there was not a compelling story to be had here. So that was that. Now, we have to play this game. This is E.T. because you have to. And to some degree, E.T. kind of got a bum rap because the game, I read more about this game after the fact, and it really is more than falling into pits, apparently, because there actually is some objective to it, and I need to read up again on how to play it. But basically what you're doing is you're looking for parts for E.T.'s spaceship, and you can see there's something down here now. So I think I want to go down here. Yeah, so this is something I need for my spaceship, and then I have to climb back out of the pit here. And these multi-screen games were not the norm for Atari at that point, or any video game for that matter. So there was a bit more to this game than people thought. I think the problem was that it really wasn't clearly explained to the player, and you kept falling into these pits here, you know, like this is the thing that happened. It got so frustrating because you didn't really know what you're supposed to do, and you'd get stuck in this loop where ET would constantly fall into the pit, and you can't get him out. So this was part of the problem that they ran into. So after a couple of hours of this, you're like, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore, and you turn it off. So that was ET, the extraterrestrial, but there really was something to be said for it. Now, if the FBI gets you, they take you to their government building, and I think they take your parts away, so you don't want that to happen. So Tactical Power wonders how does this handle systems that have number pads and pan? Yeah, so that's the problem right now is that, let me turn off ET here. It doesn't do well with number pads. So on the ColecoVision, I have a control. You'll see this control. I don't want to touch anything because they fall over. But this controller here, this is the ColecoVision controller. It had numbers on it. So what they've done is they've mapped the numbers to certain buttons on the controller, so you don't often get at all the different game modes to it, unfortunately. So there is some issues with that. All right, so let me show you what these cartridges look like, and then we'll go play some more games here. So this was actually the pack-in with the Atari 2600 that we got when I was a kid. Let me turn the autofocus on here. So what this game was Combat. We actually can't play this because it was a two-player only game. You needed to have somebody play with you. So you had tank pong, invisible tanks. What you do is you just play, you know, like this tank shooting game. This is what the cartridges look like. So not much to them. This was my all-time favorite game. As you can see, it was very heavily played. This is my original copy of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So we'll play this in a few minutes too. Lots of fun. It looks like we're having some stream health issues. So you guys may be getting some buffering, and I think it's just the nature of my internet connection at the moment. I'm about to switch routers over to something more powerful, so if you are experiencing some streaming issues, let me know. Jovan Evangelio wants to know what's in the Blockbuster case. That is an Xbox game called Black. It was a shooting game. And they had a thing at Blockbuster for a while that would let you rent the game and then keep it if you paid a little extra. So that must have been what I did back in the day there. So that is that. Let me know how the stream is coming along, because I'm getting a warning here from YouTube that I'm not streaming healthily in a healthy manner to you all. So it looks like it's still coming back to me okay, but oh, did we lose the stream? Let's see. Oh, we're still live. Okay, so we'll keep playing through here. So we're going to go over to, let's do a quick game of Frogger. And while I'm playing here, I'm capturing footage for the extras channel. So that is what I'm doing. So let's go start some Frogger. Why isn't my game working here? Huh. The Frogger doesn't seem to work. I have no controls. Frogger's not cooperating, so we may go to something else here. All right, so let's go try something else here. Let's try Hero. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Metal Jesus Rocks, he loves Hero. So let's try out Hero here. This was a great game, actually. So what you had to do in Hero, there we go, is you had to basically climb out of this. How did we set the bomb? I think it was down. There we go. You had to take this guy here and rescue people in a mine. And so there we go. We got our guy rescued here, and we are moving on. And there's another wall there. And this was another Activision game. Activision really made some awesome games for the Atari 2600. They were really, really good. All right. I think I'm stuck here. There we go. I will say this controller feels a little touchy. I don't know if it's the controller or if there's a lot of interference going on in the room here, but not the best. And I think maybe what it is that these Atari 2600 controllers back when they were original were not always that that precise. They were really stiff and difficult. Oh, I did not want to do that. And sometimes you have to guess which direction to go down. This game was not fair, as you can see. There we go. Rescue this dude. Yeah, we'll see a few other Activision games there, Luther Gaylord. There's some great Activision games that were out for the 2600. And these came out on other platforms also. So I had, I think I had this on the ColecoVision. And I actually have that somewhere. Oop. And part of what these games were, there was just no objective. You just really wanted to see what kind of score you could end up with. Oh, and it got progressively more difficult as you made your way through. So, and ultimately you would get frustrated and just turn it off and put on a different game. But there was no way to save anything. This is it. You play the game. You drop your bombs off here, and then if you wanted to start over again, it's back from the beginning, and you would basically play to see, you'd almost play just to see how long you could play for. That was kind of the overall objective of these things. Yeah, I think the Activision of the Atari 2600 days was very different, and I'm just responding to a comment here from Tactical Power. It's very different than the gaming industry of today. So what happened was, I think my understanding of the Activision story was that these guys broke away from Atari because they wanted the people that wrote the games to get more credit for putting them together. So that is what they did. So all these games, if you look on the cartridges, they often have the name of the person who wrote the game in with it. So that was kind of the thing that they did was give the programmers. One of them was David Crane. I think David Crane wrote this game, maybe, I'm not sure. But they wanted to give the programmers more credit for what they were putting together. And they've made some just amazing games here. This is probably one of their best ones. And really fun stuff. And like I said, it came out on other platforms too. All right, so we're going to, I'm very rusty. Part of it is I think this controller is just too sensitive for these old games. Here's another Activision game. This one is called Laser Blast. We'll try that one out real quick. I'll start my recording here. And this was one where I think so we had the video game crash in '83, and after that you could get video games like dirt cheap. So this was one I got for like $5 or something at the I think I still remember what store it was at. We had like this, it wasn't a TJ Maxx, but it was kind of like the same kind of store, and they had a bunch of Atari games dirt cheap. And I remember seeing this like, wow, an Activision game I'd never heard of before, and I'm so bad at it. Gosh, I'm just, I used to be really good at these games, no joke, but I'm not so good anymore. So let's try it again here. And it was there's some tactical kind of strategies to this, because you can shoot your laser beam, but then you can't move, but you can see what they're about to do before they shoot at you. So you can see that you get like one shot, and then you got to make your move quick before they take a shot at you. There we go. I got really good at this. And this is the game. And this is the thing about the Atari games back then, is that this was it. You played this, and that was the game you played. And one of the things that I have likened this to is where virtual reality is right now, because in many ways VR is very similar to this. You have a bunch of experiences that are not very long-lived, but they're really fun. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing, I think, with VR right now, which is kind of why I like it. It's just, there's no commitment. Like, you can pick this up for 5 minutes and play it, and a lot of the VR stuff that I've been playing has been very similar. I'm thinking of like that Space Pirate Trainer game. I'm going to be doing a thing. I have a friend coming over tomorrow. I'm probably going to do a little VR roundup of where I see VR at right now, because it's a lot of fun, and it really reminds me a lot of where the industry was back when these games came out. So let's stop recording on that one. Let's keep working our way down the list here. This one's called Laser Blast. So if you were looking for that one, Laser Blast was the name of that one. Here's another classic. So when we got our Atari back in the 80s, we had Missile Command, and we had Space Invaders and Bowling. I think those were the ones that we got. So let's take a look at Missile Command. I'm going to play it on easy here. This was a game that would start off really easy and then would get really hard as you worked your way through. Very simple. You have your little cursor here, and you need to blow up the nuclear missiles before they take out your cities. And you had the ability to decide which cities get spared and not. So it actually starts off fairly easy. But then they start throwing neutron bombs at you and all this other crazy stuff, and it gets a little more difficult as you're working your way around. Thank you, Tech Sword. So we'll do a little missile command here. Let me get the full screen out of the way here. It's hard to multitask. I'm trying to like follow the chat, play these games, and talk to all of, and keep the computer screen going. So you can see that we lost a couple of cities there. And actually, you know what's funny? I remember playing this game, so you'll see what happens when I lose. There was a after you get all your cities blown up, like they flash the entire screen, and I used to hate that as a kid. I didn't like losing the game first of all, but I think it scared me. So you have to understand, like back when this game was a big deal, you know, you're constantly under the threat of nuclear annihilation back at, you know, in your home because of the Cold War. So I think that was part of what was freaking me out as a kid. It's like you hear these horrible things about impending nuclear war. And sometimes if you saw one of the missiles coming towards one of your already blown up cities, then you didn't really have to pay attention to it, because it gets to a point where you really got to start prioritizing where your anti-missile missiles go. So like these two guys here need to get taken out. And that one, this one right here, I can let that one go because it's going to hit the city that's already been nuked already, so there's really no danger there. And down in the bottom there, you can see there's a little ammo level there. And I think some difficulty levels of the game were not forgiving, in that you would lose if you ran out of ammo. You were done shooting. You just had to, you know, take your fate at what it's going to be. And I think they could go after your gun also. So I think if they hit your bunker, then lose the game too. And again, this is all about racking up a score and trying to play the game for as long as possible. And if you lose, you go back and start over again. And one of the things, and I think Activision did this a lot, they had contests. So what they have you do is take a picture, a photograph with a camera, not a smartphone, because all you had was like a film camera. So they have you take out your little 110 film camera and take a picture of the screen with your score on it, and then they would send out like T-shirts to people that would hit certain scores on the game. That was how they tracked how people won the game or what the high scores were around. So there was no way to save your score other than writing it down. So that was it. And you can see now as we get progressively farther in the game, it gets faster. So I'm going to let them destroy the cities here. You can take your last stand if you want, but at this point I failed as a missile defense unit here. That's the neutron bomb right there. And once all these missiles stop falling on us, you'll get the flashing screen that used to freak me out as a kid. So here we go. And you'll hear like this sound like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I think we're back, hopefully. Everybody back? All right, now we're playing Pitfall. So I don't know how far I got into telling you anything, but here we are playing Pitfall. This was another Activision game, one of the classics. And this was a pretty cool game. It was pretty advanced for its time, as many of the Activision games were. I think Pitfall 2 was the big one. I don't have that one on here right now. I'll have to try that one at another time. So let's go through here. He has his little Tarzan yell that he does on there. And here was the tricky part, was climbing over the alligators. He had to stand on their eyes. How hard that is. I still got it after all these years. Look at that. And the whole objective here is to get treasure and not run out of your points here or get killed. So that was what it comes down to. Now my understanding is they did some tricks here to get as many graphics on the screen as you see. So, and this is one of those things you won't be able to unsee after you see it, but his arms are in the tree. So they basically, I guess you have a certain number of sprites that you can use on the Atari. And so what they did is they replicated sprites that were already on screen in the tree so they could have more things going on screen at the same time, which is pretty cool. So going across here, jump over that, and now this is, you think this is easy, right? There's the quicksand. So we got to run across here, jump, get our treasure. Boom. Let's go grab this one here. And you can also run under, they don't know what the objective is. You can read the instructions, but again, these games are played to be played. I think that's the basic gist of it. So that is Pitfall. Hope you all like that. Lost it again, huh? Oh, we're running low here. Hang on a second. Yeah, the stream is not going to be all that reliable today. I got to figure out what's going on. So let me check something. I'm going to just do a quick break here because I want to check my I'm going to check my router and see. I've been, I did that router review, and I put in some of the things that the router can do for traffic management might be messing up the stream. So I may just turn off this real quick and see if that makes this run better. So give me 1 second here. So let me go and check the configuration here. Yeah, see, everything that shouldn't be doing that. Let me turn the traffic control off, and that might all right. Let's see how we're doing now. Yeah, we're still not doing too well on the stream. I wonder if it's just the Comcast today. It could be what it is. Give me 1 more second, folks. I'm going to just try to see if I can figure out why this is not behaving. All right, turn the report off first. So let's do that. Edit. Let's remove the report here. And turn this off. A lot of times I like to reboot my router before I actually start the stream, but I just was, I was busy, so I didn't get a chance to do that. So hopefully this will improve our stream a little bit. I did have some trouble getting started also, so I just wonder if if YouTube is just getting overloaded today with people trying to stream, because they've made it more lucrative with this super chat thing. So I think there's a lot of people that are just streaming more often now. So that could be what's going on. All right, so I've got another 20 minutes here before my wife is going to start looking for me. So we'll do a few more games here. And let's go back to make sure my router is okay here. Connection failed. Okay. There we go. All right. That might improve it. So now we're going to do some River Raid. And let me go back to live here, make sure I'm still live. There we go. This was another one. Now, what's interesting about River Raid is that this game is procedurally generated. It's not random procedural generation like No Man's Sky, but what they did is they had obviously limitations. These games are 2K, not 2 megabytes, not 2 gigabytes, but 2K. All right, guys, let's see if it's going to let me back on. I think we're streaming again. Let's take a look. All right, it says I'm offline, but it looks like the stream is live. So I'm just going to keep going here and see if it's actually working. So let's take a look here. Let me know if you guys can see what's going on here. There we go. So it looks like I'm back up again. So this is River Raid. It's funny how sometimes the streams work great, like the other night, and today it's just junk. I think it's YouTube because my connection seems to be working pretty well. So River Raid here is a procedurally generated game, not random procedural generation because the levels are the same every time, but they generated everything by algorithm in order to get it to the cartridge. And I was about to say before the stream went dark again, one of the things, YouTube is just not liking me today. All right, I think we're back, or we will be. All right, just did a couple of things here to hopefully fix the stream, so we'll see what happens. I'm losing viewers. They're just tearing off, killing me. All right, let's try this again. So we're going to go over to Space Invader. I got a few more to do here, and then I got to head out for dinner here, at least get ready for dinner. So let's try this now. What I've done is a couple of changes to my router. I'm actually going to be upgrading my router this weekend also, so maybe I'll do another stream tomorrow when I do that. It's still, the stream health is not good, so it either is me or it's YouTube or something in between. All right, so here's one of my absolute favorites. This is one of the first. All right, let's try this again. So here we go. We got Space Invaders. I'm going to just show you. I'm changing some game modes here. I'm going to go back to game mode number 1. They had like 25 or 30 different game modes on this to select from, which was crazy. So you could have 2-player games here. Really pretty cool. So let me reset. What's the reset button here? So now I just want to reset the game completely. Let me go back out. So I'm going to start the game here. Now there's 2 difficulty modes, so I can hit, I forgot which one it was. I think it's this. Yeah, so if I hit the top left button here, it makes it harder. This is the easy, I'm sorry, yeah, let me start one more time. So this mode is the harder mode because your little ship down here gets fatter. And then if I hit it again over on this side, it's thinner, and that one's the easier mode. And then you have 35 or 40 different game modes within there. So let's do this one real quick. Let me hit the record on the Elgato here. And this is the game. Pretty much you shoot at the Space Invaders to get rid of them. And then they start moving faster the more that you destroy here. And the sound of this game brings, this is a game I played a lot of. And again, no objective beyond just shooting these things and seeing how far you can get in the game. That was it. And I think I'm going to do my router upgrade this weekend because I have a good router, but I'm going to hook up that new Synology router that came in the other day. That one's got a little more horsepower for what I'm trying to do here. And you can see it's starting to speed up as I destroy more of them. I think it's really crazy. Now, there's some game modes you don't have shields at all, so you can ramp up the difficulty pretty decently here. And you can see my score at the top of the screen. Now they're going to start cooking here. And what you're trying to do is prevent them from landing. And timing here is everything. There we go. Boom. Look at that. Yeah, Luther, I know. That super chat just did it in. That's right when it went offline. Actually, I was just here to make $5 so I could then go get a coffee. But yeah, I wouldn't blame you for that. But so far, I've been up for at least 5 minutes here, and the stream health is good, so that's good. So maybe we got through this. And the last game I'm going to play, someone was asking for the Star Wars game. That is the one that I am going to do last. That was one of my favorites. So actually, it is my favorite. I still play it every once in a while. And we're playing this on the Analogue NT Lite, by the way. So this is a FPGA Atari 2600 simulator, essentially. So this hardware is being simulated with pretty much the FPGA behaving like the 6502 chip on the Atari. It really is pretty cool. And I'm finding here as I'm playing, it feels pretty accurate, minus the fact that I'm playing it with a replica Nintendo controller. I think I have to get, right now there's no other controllers that work with the NT Mini beyond the Nintendo controller. So I'll need to find, something decent to go with. I might play on Twitch. The problem I have with Twitch is that I don't think anybody follows me on Twitch. So I don't know if anybody would actually watch if I went to Twitch. That's part of why I've been just kind of sticking to YouTube on this thing. And I don't play a lot of games too often, so like I said, I wanted to record some footage for the extras channels. I've been kind of documenting how all these cores work on there. So let me go finish up this level here. I used to be really good at this game. Do a little bit more of this, and then I'll switch over to, now I've got an orange indicator on my stream health. I don't know what that means, but it's not good. So let's see. All right, so that's Space Invaders. And then we will play a couple of Star Wars games here. So let's go over to Death Star Battle, and then we'll do The Empire Strikes Back. Jacksepticeye, yes, I believe the PS4 and the PS3 controllers do work with this. Yeah, so I think you could probably get those working on there. All right, so let's go. And if you are just joining the stream, we are going to have some pretty bad experiences here, so it doesn't seem to be working very well. Oh, the Death Star battle doesn't work. I got to fix that ROM, I think. We'll go do Empire Strikes Back. And Tom Rusen's wondering what I use for the picture-in-picture. I am using a TriCaster. It's a production thing. It's over there. I'm going to actually do a refreshed behind-the-scenes look at the channel soon, because I haven't done one in a while, and I did some upgrades to my system here that are better. So that is something we'll be looking at in the near future. All right, last game, and then I've got to get ready for family stuff here. Let me go, oops, sorry guys. Let me go over to The Empire Strikes Back. This game is awesome. One of my personal favorites. All right, so here's the deal with this game. You are the snow speeder, and what you have to do is take out all these blinking dots, which are, of course, the Imperial walkers who will want to destroy the rebel base. That is the objective here, folks. So let's go get moving here. So pretty basic game here, not much to it, but a lot of fun. So there's different strategies for this. And again, this is another game that doesn't end. And as you know, the Imperial walkers are resistant to the rebels' blasters, but these walkers, after a while, will turn color and explode. I forgot the number of shots they take, but they take quite a few. Now, I want you to notice something here. So you see that I just turned orange. So if I go down here to the little flat spot, I can get my ship repaired, but you can only get a few of those. And that blinking dot there, if I hit that, will take out the walker with one shot. So they have like moments of weakness that you can exploit. You got to get over to it really quick and then turn around and grab it. And it looks easier than it actually is. And then we can go down here and get repaired again. And sometimes they get you while you're on the ground before you take off again. For some reason, the blasters from the walkers are really accurate. So the game is a lot. This is the easy mode, by the way, too. So, and it's a little bit easier with the joystick. I mean, you know, what I should find is like one of those NES Advantage sticks, because I think these games are really designed to be played with a stick and not with a gamepad. So. I know a lot of people like to plug their Sega Genesis controllers into their Atari 2600s, but here we go. Got rid of him. Now I want to keep playing a little bit because eventually, and it's like a random thing, but if you start playing really good, you get rewarded with the Force, which is a period of invincibility where your ship will be impenetrable to enemy fire, and you get all your repairs reset, and you can really do some good stuff. So once the ship starts flashing, you'll see me get the Force, hopefully. And let me go down for another repair here. Now, I think that's probably my last repair before I'm able to repair my ship again. Oh. And it's funny, depending on how the blaster shots from the walkers hit you, as you can see, I'm out of repairs now. Sometimes you die, and other times you don't. So there's actually some degree of diversity to how you can die. There we go. Now I've got the Force that plays a little Star Wars music, and we can try to take out more and more walkers. And the thing is, the walkers do not stop coming. They're like the zombies on Walking Dead, the real walkers. Like, they just keep coming. So you cannot end this game, I don't think, and go from there. And I know some folks like to start with the walker all the way at the end and then work their way forward. And now what happens is that if the walkers get to the other side of that yellow bar at the bottom there, so if they get all the way to here, the game ends because they've hit your power station there and the rebel base is destroyed. So that is the end of that. So cool stuff. That is Empire Strikes Back. Let's do one more. Go over here to Yar's Revenge. And this is a game that I never owned, but I found it to be interesting. because, yeah, Alex NC, the good old days when video games were impossible. That is right. I don't think there's a way to win this game. That is it. So this is Yar's Revenge, and I was just eager to see how this one looks because this is a tricky one. So let's pull that up real quick for you all, and I'll start recording here. Classic Game Room does a lot with this game. And TechnoSword, the software I'm using to stream is, what's going on here? Let's see, select. I'm not sure. There we go. The software I'm using to stream is actually my TriCaster itself. So the nice thing about this TriCaster thing is that it does everything. It does the streaming, it does recording when I'm doing my videos. I have 4 inputs on it for HDMI, which is what I use to plug the cameras in and the computer in that you're seeing here. All right, I'm waiting for it to come back online, everybody. Let's see. Okay, I'm back. All right, so anyway, that's the Atari 2600 games that I wanted to just capture for the stream here. And it looks like the stream is not going to stay very healthy. So I think I'm probably going to cut this short now because I have to get ready for kids and all this other stuff I've got to take care of tonight. But I want to thank Luther Gaylord for his super chat. I'm sorry that we were not able to keep the stream going very well. But I am going to install my new router this weekend, so hopefully that will improve things. And it might just be a YouTube problem or a routing problem between Comcast and YouTube, or who knows. Some days I have really good streaming luck, like the last couple streams that I've done. In fact, the last one I did, we were like 6 megabits per second, 1080p. It was beautiful. It was working great. This one, not so good. So I think I'm going to just call it quits for now and go from there. Yeah, Luther says 2 o'clock in the morning. I think that's probably the best time to do it. The good news is I'm going full time with this soon, so I'll have more time to devote to everything. So, in any event, just wanted to show you some of my favorite Atari 2600 games. We were streaming them to my NT Lite here, or NT Mini. I keep calling it the NT Lite. But good little system, and pretty cool to have another system to play on here. So now this one does Coleco. Let me show you the cores here. So let's pull up the core list, and then I will call it quits here. So if I go back to the cores, let's go back one menu. I'm going to go back. So here's all the systems now that the NT supports. So we have, I'll probably do another one of these with the ColecoVision. I'll make a list of games that I really loved. Maybe I'll record that also and have it be a video. So I got Master System, ColecoVision, Game Boy Color, Atari 2600, Game Boy, Game Gear, and the NES, of course. And again, remember, this is FPGA, so you're getting a much more accurate depiction, essentially, or simulation of how these things worked. And I'm hoping to get Kevtris, the guy that writes the code for this, on the channel for an interview. I think you guys would find that really interesting. So, all right, I'm going to head out here. We're going to quit while I'm ahead on the stream. And I want to thank everyone who bared with me on this because the stream just wasn't cooperating tonight. And there's a whole host of reasons why it probably wasn't. It's mostly probably my fault, but we'll see. And I'll answer a couple questions here. Jack Septic wants to know if I'm getting the Nintendo Switch. I am not initially. The thing for me, like a channel of my size, is that if I review it, I'm not going to get any viewership on it. I mean, you guys will watch it, which would be great, but I don't think it's something that'll do well here on the channel. I'm also not pleased with how Nintendo treats independent creators, because I think they overstep and abuse their ability to take content down on YouTube. And I'm afraid that if I invest my time into reviewing that they'll file some bogus copyright claim on any game footage that I might take during the course of that review. So I am not going to do that. So no, I will not be reviewing the Switch, but other folks will, and I will point you at those reviews when they come out. So cool. All right, everybody, I got to go because my wife is going to start looking for me, and she eventually comes downstairs and just shuts me down. She's like, time to get ready. So I got to go. All right, so I will catch you all later. And like I said, I'm going to do a schedule to this kind of thing in the future, so I will keep you posted on that. And again, I want to thank Luther Gaylord for his contribution on Super Chat. And that will do it for now, and I hope to get a more reliable stream going for the next one. See you all soon.